My daughter-in-law gave me a bottle of expensive wine, but I thought the bottle had already been opened. I didn't say anything, and a week later she called me and asked, "How do you like the wine?" I smiled and replied, "I gave it to your mother. I think she'll like it." At first she was silent, but then she screamed, "You ruined everything!" Her voice trembled with horror, promising betrayal that would destroy the family forever, but with an unexpected twist of justice. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I was on the small ladder in my wine cellar, reaching for a dusty Burgundy from '98, when my phone buzzed in my back pocket. Nearly dropped the bottle. Caught it, muttered something about being too old for acrobatics, and checked the screen. Dwight Mobile. My face lit up before I could stop it. "Dad! Hey, we just landed. Well, not just. We got in this morning, but Dwight, you're back. How was France? Did you—" "Amazing, just amazing. Listen, we're actually not far from your place, and Venera and I thought maybe we could swing by. Bring you something from the trip? Tonight? Well, sure. I've got some steaks in the freezer. I can—" No, don't go to any trouble. We'll grab something on the way. 6:30 work?" I climbed down the ladder carefully, set the Burgundy on my workbench. 6:30's perfect. 20 minutes later, I'd pulled 2 ribeyes from the freezer and was setting the dining room table. The good plates, the ones my wife picked out 30 years ago. Dwight hadn't visited in 6 months. 6 months of maybe next weekend, and texts that went unanswered for days. But he was coming now, bringing Venera, bringing something from France. The doorbell rang at 6:40. I opened it to find them on the porch, Venera clutching a wrapped bottle like her life depended on it. Her smile stretched too wide across her face. "Harrison!" She hugged me with one arm, the other protecting the bottle. "You look wonderful." Come in, come in." I stepped aside. Dwight gave me a quick shoulder squeeze, not quite a hug. His eyes kept darting to his phone in his other hand. "How was the flight?" "Long." Dwight followed Venera inside. "But worth it. The vineyards were incredible, right, Ven?" "Oh, absolutely." Venera unwrapped the bottle with trembling fingers. Tissue paper drifted to the floor. "This is for you, Harrison, from Bordeaux. We visited the Ch. and, well, Dwight insisted we bring you something special." I took the bottle carefully. Chateau Margaux, 1995. The label alone made my chest tighten. Chateau Margaux, 1995. "Venera, this is an $800 bottle." "You deserve it." Her laugh came out too loud, bounced off my walls wrong. "After everything you've done for us, for Dwight, putting him through Oregon State, and that was a long time ago." I turned the bottle in my hands, examining it the way 35 years as a sommelier had trained me. My thumb found the capsule automatically, traced the edge, stopped, moved back across the same spot. The cork underneath felt wrong. The seal showed pressure marks where it shouldn't. "This is really too generous. Will you drink it soon?" Venera leaned forward. Her necklace swung away from her chest. "Like this weekend, maybe? Before it gets too old, or—" "Wine like this doesn't get too old for decades." I met her eyes. She looked away first. "But sure, maybe Sunday. I'll save it for something special." We moved to the dining room. I'd grilled the steaks medium rare, the way Dwight used to like them. Not sure if he still did. These days I wasn't sure about much with my son. "So tell me about the trip. Which vineyards did you visit?" Dwight and Venera exchanged a glance. Quick, nervous. "Oh, several. You know, the big ones. Which region?" "Margaux is in the M. Dock, obviously, but did you make it to Pomerol? Saint-Emilion?" "We did a tour package thing." Venera's fork scraped against her plate. "They took us around. We didn't really track the names." "A tour package." I cut my steak with careful precision, each movement deliberate. "To Chateau Margaux specifically." "Right, yeah." Dwight's fork clinked against his plate too hard. "Hey, Dad, how's Gretel doing? She still helping you with house stuff?" The deflection was clumsy. Obvious. I let it work anyway. "She's good. Had her over last week to help with the irrigation system. Her roof's leaking again, though. I told her I'd come by and patch it." "That's nice of you." Venera refilled her water glass. It was still half full. Her hands shook slightly. Water sloshed over the rim. We finished dinner with forced conversation about nothing. Dwight's startup that kept changing names. Venera's consulting work she never described. my garden, my blog, the weather. Every topic lasted 3 minutes before dying into awkward silence. They left at 8:30. Dwight hugged me at the door, brief and distracted. "Thanks for dinner, Dad. This was great. Come back any time. You don't need to bring $800 wine." He laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Love you, Dad." "Love you too." I watched their car pull away, stood on the porch until the taillights disappeared around the corner. The June evening was warm, comfortable. Everything should have felt right. My son had visited, brought his wife, brought a gift. I locked the front door and headed back down to the wine cellar. The bottle sat on my workbench where I'd left it. Under my magnifying lamp, the problems became clearer. The capsule had been removed and replaced. Not professionally. The foil showed tiny creases at the neck. The cork beneath had been reinserted. I could see the compression marks where someone had forced it back down. Someone had opened this bottle, tampered with it, resealed it, and my son and daughter-in-law desperately wanted me to drink it this weekend. I picked up my phone. No messages. I typed, "Thanks for dinner, Dad. Venera loved seeing you." It arrived 3 minutes later from Dwight. I stared at the thumbs-up emoji, replied, "My pleasure. That wine is too generous, though. When's a good time to call this week? Catch up properly?" His response came fast. "Swamped with work stuff. Maybe next weekend." 6 months of maybe next weekend. I set my phone down. The bottle sat under the light. $800. Chateau Margaux. Tampered cork. Nervous gift givers. Urgent timeline. My phone rang. Gretel's name lit up the screen. "Harrison, I hate to bother you this late, but my roof is leaking again in the back corner. Any chance you could come by tomorrow and help me patch it? I'll make you breakfast." I looked at the bottle, at the cork that had definitely been opened and resealed, at the wine my son wanted me to drink before it got too old. My thumb traced the label slowly. "Of course, Gretel. Morning work for you? 8 too early?" "8's perfect." I picked up the bottle, held it up to the light one more time. "And Gretel, I'll bring you something. A thank you gift for all the help you've given me this year." We said goodbye. I hung up. The Chateau Margaux sat in my hand. $800. Maybe more. Definitely tampered with. Definitely suspicious. I stared at it for a long moment, thinking about Venera's shaking hands, about Dwight's deflections, about tour packages to exclusive Bordeaux chateaux, about the cork that had been opened and forced back down. Then I wrapped the bottle carefully in bubble wrap and set it in my canvas work bag for tomorrow morning. The sun was already hot at 9 in the morning. I hammered the last shingle into place on Gretel's roof, sweat dripping down my temple. My back complained about the angle. 68 years old meant I felt every awkward position for days afterward. "Hand me another nail?" I called down. Gretel passed one up from the ladder below. We'd been doing this dance for years. Her roof, my irrigation system, her car, my gutters. The rhythm of helping each other had become comfortable, natural. "I'm sorry to keep asking for help, Harrison. I know you've got your own—" "Gretel, stop. You've helped me more times than I can count. That time my irrigation system flooded the basement? You were here at 11 at night with a shop vac. That was nothing. But money's been tight since the divorce, and calling a roofer is $400 minimum just to show up, which is insane. This is maybe $50 of materials and an hour of work." She climbed up a rung higher, handed me the tar brush. Venera used to call every Sunday. We'd talk for an hour. I haven't heard from her in... She counted on her fingers. 2 weeks? Maybe more. I called twice, got voicemail both times. Busy with work, probably. Maybe. She didn't sound convinced. She's been different lately. Stressed. Won't tell me why. I spread tar over the patch, working it into the corners. Thought about Venera's shaking hands last night. About her forced laughter. "They seemed fine yesterday." "They visited?" Gretel's voice sharpened with surprise. "Venera didn't mention they were in town." I kept my eyes on the tar. "Came by for dinner. Brought me wine from their France trip." "France?" The confusion in her voice was genuine. "Venera didn't mention any France trip. When did they—" She stopped herself. "Never mind. Not my business." We finished the patch in silence. Climbed down. I stretched my back, grimacing. Gretel wiped her hands on her jeans. "Come in for coffee? It's the least I can do." Her kitchen was small, worn Formica counters, chipped linoleum floor, but clean and organized. She poured coffee into mismatched mugs. I retrieved my canvas bag from the porch. Before I forget, I pulled out the bubble-wrapped bottle and set it on the counter between us. She stared at it. Harrison, what? I unwrapped it carefully. The Chateau Margaux emerged, label gleaming in her kitchen light. Harrison, what? This is Chateau Margaux, 1995. Dwight and Venera brought it back from their France trip. France? Venera didn't mention any. She stopped, touched the bottle with one finger like it might bite her. This must be worth about $800, give or take. Her hand jerked back. I can't accept this. This is... You can. And if you need the money, there are wine auction sites. I can send you links, or you could drink it. But honestly, I leaned against her counter. Selling it makes more sense for you right now. Harrison, her voice cracked. She blinked rapidly, pressed her palms flat on the counter. This is too much. It's not enough. For everything you do. I picked up my work bag. I should head out. Got some garden work waiting. She was crying now, silent tears sliding down her face while she stared at the bottle. Thank you. I don't... Thank you. I let myself out. The drive back to Lake Oswego took 30 minutes. I spent it with the radio off, thinking about Dwight's face when he was 7 years old, when he'd broken my favorite coffee mug and cried harder than I'd ever seen. I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm so sorry. I'd told him accidents happen, told him I loved him more than any mug. When had Daddy become Dad, become checking his phone at dinner? At home, I changed into garden clothes and headed outside. My tomato plants needed weeding. The mindless work usually helped me think. Usually. I knelt in the dirt, yanking weeds with more force than necessary. Clumps of soil flew. My hand squeezed around a weed root, knuckles white. Relaxed, squeezed again. 5 years ago, Dwight had shown up for my 63rd birthday, made sourdough French toast at 6 in the morning. Dad, sit down. I got this. He'd been at my stove, spatula in hand, grinning. When's the last time someone cooked for you? You don't have to. I want to. Actually, don't answer that question. It's depressing. I'd sat at my own kitchen table, watching my son cook. How's the new job? Good. Really good. I think this startup might actually... He'd caught himself, laughed. Sorry. I always say that, don't I? You're optimistic. Nothing wrong with that. You always believed in me, even when I screwed up. He'd flipped the toast expertly. You know that means everything, right? 5 years ago, before the text stopped, before maybe next weekend, before bottles of wine with tampered corks, I pulled another weed, stared at my tomato plants. When did we lose this? By evening, I'd showered and settled at my desk. My blog needed updating. Every week, I posted something about wine. History, regions, tasting notes, collection management. This week's topic, counterfeit wines. I typed, the fine wine market has a counterfeit problem. Collectors need to know warning signs. Capsules that don't match the era. Corks that show compression inconsistency. Labels with subtle color variations. My fingers paused. I read the sentence again. Typed, bottles that have been opened and resealed show specific tells to trained eyes. The cork develops compression marks. The capsule creases differently. Most concerning are gift wines from suspicious sources. I stared at that last sentence. Deleted. Most concerning are gift wines from suspicious sources. Too obvious. Too pointed. Typed it again anyway. The blog post took an hour to finish. Professional. Educational. Carefully avoiding any mention of my own suspicious bottle. The bottle I'd given away. To Gretel. To Venera's mother. My phone buzzed on the desk. Text from Harold in Germany. How's the collection coming? Found any gems? I replied, reorganized the 95 Bordeaux section. Gave away a Margaux today, actually. His response came fast. Gave away a Margaux? Dad, are you feeling okay? Long story. How's the vineyard? Harvest prep is killing me. Worth it, though. Heard from Dwight lately? I stared at the question. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Typed, saw him last night. He seems busy. Busy or avoiding? Sorry, not my business. Love you, Dad. Love you, too. Talk Sunday. I set the phone down, opened my wine blog draft again, read the paragraph about counterfeit bottles, about resealed corks, about wines that couldn't be trusted, saved it as a draft, didn't publish. Outside my office window, the June evening faded to darkness. I poured myself a glass of wine. Not Chaude Margaux. A simple Oregon Pinot Noir. Local. Trustworthy. Mine. The glass was halfway to my mouth when my phone rang. Venera's name on the screen. I set the wine glass down, stared at her name. The phone buzzed again in my hand. Again. On the fourth ring, I answered. Venera? Her voice came through shaking. Wrong. Nothing like last night's forced cheerfulness. Harrison, have you drunk that wine yet? The Margaux? Something wild lived in her tone. Something barely controlled. My other hand tightened around my wine glass. The Pinot suddenly looked darker than it should. Venera? What's wrong? The wine, she was gasping, hyperventilating. Did you drink it? Please tell me you didn't. I haven't opened it yet. The lie came automatically, smoothly. 35 years of maintaining poker face at wine tastings. Professional calm while tasting oxidized garbage. Why? Is something. Oh, thank God, she sobbed. Actually sobbed. Okay, don't open it. She stopped. I could hear her breathing, fast and shallow. Could hear Dwight's voice in the background, distant but urgent. What are you doing? Hang up. I set down my wine glass very carefully. The Pinot sloshed against the sides. Venera, what's wrong with the wine? The pause stretched too long, too heavy. I could hear her breathing, hear Dwight saying something else I couldn't make out. Venera, talk to me. What's in... Venera, talk to me. What's in... It wasn't supposed to... Her voice cracked, words tumbling over each other. We just needed the money, we thought. My hand tightened around the phone. The Oregon Pinot sat on my desk, dark and innocent. Suddenly it looked like blood. What's in the wine, Venera? You have to understand. We had no choice. Carter's people, they said, what is in the wine? Silence. I could hear her breathing, fast and shallow. Could hear something crash in the background. Glass breaking. Then her voice smaller. Where did you say it was? I told you. I gave it to Gretel yesterday morning. Another pause. Then, Harrison, where exactly is that bottle right now? I told you. I gave it to Gretel yesterday morning. She helped me with... No! Full volume now, screaming into the phone. You ruined everything. It was supposed to... She cut herself off, breathing hard. You don't understand. That wine was for you. It was supposed to be you. My blood went cold. My office walls pressed in. Supposed to be me what, Venera? I mean... She was crying now, words spilling out like water from a broken pipe. There was no other way. The money, the debts. We thought if I just what? Died? No, not died, just sick. We had medicine. We would have saved you. You would have been so grateful. And then my other hand moved to my desk drawer, pulled it open slowly, quietly. My fingers found the digital recorder I kept for wine fraud documentation. 15 years of authenticating bottles, documenting provenance disputes. I positioned it near the phone, pressed record. The red light blinked. And then what, Venera? Dwight's voice, close now, urgent. Venera, hang up now. Sound of fumbling. A struggle? Dwight's voice came through the speaker. Dad, she's upset. She doesn't know what she's saying. Ignore. I'm recording this, Dwight. Click. Deadline. I sat frozen. Stared at my recorder, red light still blinking, stared at my wine glass, still half full of Pinot. My hand reached out slowly, deliberately, and poured the wine into the plant pot beside my desk. Watched the dark liquid disappear into the soil. The plant didn't need it, but I needed to see liquid vanish, needed to see something get swallowed by earth instead of me. My phone was already in my hand, dialing. Fourth ring before she answered. Harrison, it's 10 at night. What's... Gretel, it's Harrison. Is that wine still at your house? What? Yes, it's in my, Harrison, what's... Don't drink it. Don't even open it. I wasn't planning to tonight, but I'm coming over, right now. I need to take it back. You're scaring me. What's wrong with the wine? I'll explain when I get there. 20 minutes. Just don't touch it. Promise me. I promise. Harrison, what's going on? 20 minutes. I grabbed my keys. Drove through Portland's dark streets with knuckles white on the steering wheel. Ran 2 yellow lights that should have been red. Parked crooked in Gretel's driveway. one wheel on her lawn, pounded on her door. "Gretel, it's Harrison. Open up." She opened it in her bathrobe, eyes wide. "Harrison, you're shaking. Where's the bottle?" "Kitchen counter. I was going to—" I pushed past her, not polite, not gentle. Found the Chateau Margaux sitting exactly where I'd imagined it, label gleaming under her kitchen light. Wrapped it in dish towels from her drawer. "Harrison, please. What's happening?" I turned to face her. She looked small in her bathrobe, confused and scared. Her daughter had given her poisoned wine. Her daughter, who hadn't called in 2 weeks, who was desperate and drowning and had decided her mother was acceptable collateral damage. "The wine is bad, Gretel. I mean really bad. Spoiled. I should have checked it before giving it to you. I'm sorry." "Spoiled? It's unopened. How could you—" "I'll explain everything. Soon, I promise. But right now I need to take it to someone who can verify what's wrong with it." She studied my face. 20 years of friendship meant she knew when I was holding back. "This isn't about spoiled wine." "No, it's not." "Does this have something to do with Venera?" I didn't answer. Didn't need to. Gretel's face crumpled. "Go home, Harrison. Do what you need to do. But come back and tell me the truth. All of it." "I will." The drive home took longer. I kept checking my rearview mirror. Kept seeing headlights that might be following. Might be Dwight. Might be someone else. At home, I set the wrapped bottle on my kitchen counter with exaggerated care. Made coffee, even though it was nearly midnight. Pulled out my laptop. Search. Toxicology Labs, Portland, Oregon. Search. Poison testing wine. Search. How to test for poison without police. The third search felt criminal. Probably was. But I needed to know what I was dealing with before involving authorities. Needed evidence beyond a panicked phone confession and my professional instinct about a cork. My phone buzzed. Email notification. From Alonzo Mitchell. Subject. Urgent favor. Time 11:47 p.m. Harry, got your message. Yes, I can test wine for contaminants. My lab does toxicology for hospitals and law enforcement. Bring it by tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. And Harry? Your voicemail sounded scared. You okay? Alonzo? I'd called him from the car. Left a rambling message about needing help, about testing a suspicious bottle, about it being life or death urgent. Alonzo and I went back 30 years. He'd helped me authenticate questionable wines before, tested vintage bottles for authenticity, but this was different. I typed back, 9 a.m., thank you. I'll explain everything then. My coffee went cold while I sat at the kitchen table. The recorder sat next to my laptop, red light finally off. Inside it, Venera's voice saying, it was supposed to be you, saying they had medicine to save me, saying I would have been grateful. Grateful enough to do what? Change my will? Give them money? Hand over my house? The clock read 1:34 a.m. when I finally went upstairs. Didn't sleep. Kept replaying the recording in my head. Kept seeing Dwight at 7 years old, crying over a broken mug. Kept seeing Dwight at 39, checking his phone at dinner, desperate to leave. At 6 a.m., I gave up on sleep, made fresh coffee, opened my laptop, new email. Sender, Truth Seeker, 2025, protonmail.com. Subject, the truth about your son. Time, 5:47 a.m. My cursor hovered over it. Every instinct I had screamed caution. Anonymous sender. Proton Mail encrypted email. Subject line designed to provoke. I clicked anyway. Mr. Parker, you don't know me, but I know your situation. Your son Dwight owes $180,000 to various creditors. The most dangerous is Vaughn Carter, who operates from a check-cashing business on 82nd Avenue. Dwight borrowed $50,000 at 25% interest. Payment due July 15th. That's 6 weeks from now. Attached are documents proving everything. You deserve to know who's trying to kill you and why. A friend. 3 attachments, photo files, and a PDF. I downloaded them. My antivirus flagged nothing. The files opened. Photo 1. Loan documents with Dwight's signature. Multiple pages, official-looking letterhead. Photo 2. Dwight shaking hands with a heavy-set man outside a business, with fast cash in the window. Timestamp, May 28, 2025. Photo 3. A credit report. Dwight's name at the top, numbers in red. $180,000 in total debt. The PDF, more detailed breakdown, 5 different loans. Interest rates ranging from 8% to 25%, payment schedules, all coming due between July and August. I stared at the screen. This was detailed. This was inside information. This was someone who'd been watching my son for weeks or months. This was someone I didn't know, sending me evidence I desperately needed, for reasons I couldn't fathom. My laptop started running slower, fans whirring louder. I ran a security scan, nothing found. But my hands shook anyway. 35 years of verifying wine provenance, 35 years of authenticating bottles, checking sources, never trusting convenient information, and here I was, downloading suspicious attachments like someone who just discovered email existed. "Brilliant, Harrison," I muttered. "Real brilliant. Why not just write, 'I trust anonymous strangers' on your forehead?" But the information looked real. The photos were genuine. The dates aligned with Dwight's nervous behavior, with Venera's desperation, with $800 wine and tampered corks. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. "Did you get my email? Your son is in deeper than you think. The loan shark's name is Vaughn Carter. He works out of a check cashing place on 82nd Avenue. Dwight has until July 15th to pay. That's 6 weeks." I stared at the message, screenshot it, deleted it. The sender knew too much. Way too much. Who watches a family this closely? Who compiles evidence and sends it to the victim? At 8:45 a.m., I wrapped the CH.tow Margot in bubble wrap, placed it in a padded wine carrier, and drove to Alonzo's lab. The elevator in Alonzo's building smelled like antiseptic and old coffee. My reflection in the steel doors showed a man who'd aged a decade in 48 hours. Gray stubble I'd forgotten to shave. Eyes with dark circles deep enough to store wine. The lab was on the 4th floor. Industrial space converted to something clinical. Alonzo met me at the door, took one look at my face, and gestured me inside without a word. "Let me see it." I unwrapped the CH.tow Margot carefully, set it on his examination table under bright lights. Alonzo pulled on latex gloves, picked it up, rotated it slowly. "Walk me through why you think this is poisoned." I pointed to the cork. "The seal's been compromised. See the pressure marks? Someone uncorked this, added something, resealed it. Not a professional job, but careful enough that most people wouldn't notice." "Most people aren't sommeliers." He set it down with exaggerated care. "What are we looking for? Arsenic? Something botanical?" "I don't know. Something that would cause sudden illness. Heart attack symptoms, maybe. Something with an antidote." His eyebrows rose. "An antidote. That's specific. The person who gave this to me..." I stopped, rephrased. "The people who tampered with it had medicine ready to save me after I got sick." "That's..." Alonzo whistled low. "That's calculated. That's not crime of passion. That's premeditated. You sure about this?" I pulled out my phone, played him the recording. Venera's voice filled the sterile lab. "It was supposed to be you. We had medicine. You would have been so grateful." Alonzo's face went pale. "Jesus, Harry. Can you test it?" "I can test it." He looked at the bottle like it might explode. "Give me 3 days. I'll run every panel we've got. Alkaloids, heavy metals, cardiac glycosides, everything. 3 days? For you? I'll make it priority. But Harry, this is evidence. This is attempted murder. You need to call the police." "Not yet. Harry, I need to understand why first. I need to know how deep this goes." I headed for the door. 3 days. Call me the second you know anything." Back home, I stood in my office, staring at my phone. The French importer's number was in my contacts from 2 years ago. Portland Wine Conference. We talked about Burgundy aging potential for an hour. It was 8 p.m. in Bordeaux. I dialed. "All. Claude, this is Harrison Parker from Portland, Oregon. We met at..." "Monsieur Parker." "Oui, I remember you. The conference, your knowledge of Burgundy was impressive. How are you?" "I'm well. I'm calling about a recent purchase. My son, Dwight Parker, claimed he visited Chateau Margaux in May and purchased a bottle of their 1995. Keyboard clicking. Long pause. "Monsieur Parker, I show no purchases under that name. Are you certain it was through our import company?" My pen pressed hard against my notepad. Could he have bought directly at the Chateau? Impossible. Chateau Margaux does not sell directly to tourists. All purchases go through authorized importers. And a 1995? More clicking. We've had 3 bottles in our inventory this year, all sold to established clients. No Parker, no first-time buyers. So there's no way. Your son did not purchase this wine in France, monsieur. I am certain. I thanked him. Hung up. Stared at my notepad where I'd written, "No France trip," in letters that got angrier with each word. They never went to France. The whole story was fabricated, which meant they'd bought the bottle here, or stolen it, or acquired it specifically to use as a weapon. Through my office window, I could see Felix Hunter on his porch next door, reading his newspaper, coffee mug at his elbow, retired Portland PD detective, my neighbor for 15 years. I walked across my lawn to his house. "You look like hell, Harry." He set down his paper. "Come sit down. I need a favor. Name it. I need you to investigate someone." "Who?" "My son." Felix's coffee mug stopped halfway to his mouth. Set it down carefully. "You want me to investigate your own son? I want you to find the truth. Harry, I've known Dwight since he was in diapers. Watched him grow up right there." He gestured at my house. "You sure you want me digging into his life? Would you rather I find out he tried to kill me on my own? Or with someone who knows what they're doing?" Felix was quiet for a moment, studied my face. "Tell me what you know." I told him everything. The wine, the phone call, the recording, the anonymous email about debts. When I finished, Felix leaned back. "I never liked that girl he married, Venera. Something about her always felt calculated, like she was running numbers while talking to you." He picked up his coffee. "Okay, I'll do it. But Harry, if I find what you think I'm going to find, then I'll deal with it. No, then we'll deal with it. Legal, proper, by the book. I didn't retire from Portland PD to watch neighbors commit murder. Clear?" "Clear. Give me a day. I've still got contacts at banks, phone companies, public records. I'll see what I can dig up." That was Monday afternoon. Tuesday at 2:47 p.m. my phone buzzed. Found him. Meeting with Carter right now at the check cashing place. Getting photos. "Your boy looks scared." I typed back. "How scared?" "Sweating through his shirt, scared. Carter's doing all the talking. Dwight's nodding like a bobblehead. This guy's in deep." An hour later, got financial records from my banking contact. $180K total. $50K from Carter at 25% interest. Payment due July 15th. That's 5 weeks, Harrison. I stared at my phone. $50,000 at 25% interest. That was over $12,000 in interest alone. If Dwight couldn't pay the principal, the interest would bury him. And Carter wasn't the type to accept payment plans. I texted back, "What happens if he doesn't pay?" "Nothing good. Carter's not the negotiating type." Tuesday evening, Felix spread documents across my dining table. Bank statements, photographs taken with telephoto lens, printed text messages his contact at the phone company had pulled. "Your boy's been busy." He tapped the bank statements. 6 different lenders, 3 legitimate banks. 3. He slid a photo toward me. Heavy-set man outside Fast Cash. Not so much. I picked up the photo. Dwight's face was clear even from a distance. Frightened. Desperate. Shaking the man's hand like making a deal he knew would destroy him. Started 14 months ago with a legitimate business loan. $10,000 for his startup. That one he paid back on time. Felix traced the timeline with his finger. Then bigger loans. $20,000, $30,000, each one to cover the previous one. Classic debt spiral. And Carter? Carter was last resort, May 28th. Your boy walked in owing $130,000 to various sources, all coming due within weeks of each other. Carter loaned him $50 at 25%. 6-week term, due July 15th. 6 weeks to come up with, I did the math, $7,500 in interest alone. Minimum. If he's late, penalties stack fast. Carter's not creative with repayment plans. He's creative with consequences. I stared at the documents. My son, my Dwight, who'd made me French toast 5 years ago, who'd cried over a broken mug at 7, who'd grown into someone borrowing $50,000 from loan sharks. Harry, where'd you get Carter's name originally? Anonymous email. Felix's expression darkened. That's sloppy. Whoever sent that is either law enforcement, connected to Carter, or has been watching your family for months. None of those are good options. You don't trust anonymous sources, especially not ones with inside information. My stomach dropped. I didn't think... No, you didn't. You were angry and desperate. He tapped the photos. Good news is the information checks out. Bad news is someone's playing chess here and we don't know their game yet. That night, I couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about Venera sitting in their apartment, phone in her trembling hands. Actually, somewhere across town, Venera sat in her car outside her office building. Tuesday lunch break. Dialed Dwight 3 times before he answered. What? I'm at work. We still have the antidote. The digoxin immune fab. It's in our fridge. What do we do with it? What? If someone finds it, if they test it, if police come... Dwight, we have poison antidote in our refrigerator. Do you understand how that looks? Why would police come? Your mom has the wine. Harrison hasn't... He knows. He knew something was wrong. That's why he gave it away. He's probably already testing it. You're paranoid. I'm realistic. We gave his father poisoned wine. He recorded our conversation. We're going to prison. We're not. Just calm down. Throw away the antidote. Tonight. Get rid of it. What if we need it? What if somehow... We don't need it anymore. The plan failed. It's over. Throw it away. Silence. Then her voice small. What about Carter? What about the money? His voice dropped. I don't know. She hung up, sat in her car, hands shaking on the steering wheel. That night, Venera sat on the floor of their bedroom closet, door closed, phone flashlight illuminating the small space. In her hands, their wedding album. She flipped pages slowly, stopped on one photo, Harrison hugging her after the ceremony. Welcome to the family, he'd said. Her own father left when she was 6. Harrison was everything her father wasn't. Present, kind, proud of her. He'd helped with their first apartment deposit, sent birthday cards, never forgot, and she'd repaid him by putting poison in his wine. She closed the album, pressed her forehead against it. I'm sorry, she whispered. But sorry was just another empty word in a life built on empty words and desperate schemes. Wednesday afternoon, I was in my garden, hands in dirt, trying to work off 3 days of nervous energy. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I stripped off my gardening gloves, saw Alonzo's name, sat down hard on the ground, right there among the tomatoes. Tell me. Harrison, sit down. You need to hear this. I'm sitting. It's not just poison. It's a combination. Oleander extract and arsenic trioxide, specifically formulated to cause cardiac arrhythmia that mimics natural heart attack. In a man your age, the ER wouldn't even question it. My free hand gripped a tomato stake for support. But here's the thing. Whoever made this knew exactly what they were doing. The dosage is precise. Too much would be obvious in toxicology. Too little wouldn't work. This is someone who researched. And the antidote. Digoxin-specific antibody fragments. Expensive, prescription only, but it would completely reverse the effects within an hour. They planned to poison you and then save you. I would have been grateful. You would have been dependent. You would have changed your will, given them access to everything. Alonzo's voice softened. Harry, this is attempted murder. This is evidence. You need to call the police. I looked at my house, at Dwight's childhood bedroom window, at the basketball hoop still mounted over the garage from when my boys were 10 and 12. Not yet. Harrison, I need to understand why. I need... My phone buzzed. Call waiting. Unknown number. Alonzo, I have to go. Send me the full report. I switched calls. Hello? A man's voice, unfamiliar, slightly amused. Mr. Parker, we should talk about your son's debt, and about what I can offer you. My blood ran cold. Who is this? Let's just say I'm someone with a mutual interest in seeing Dwight Parker face consequences. I'm the one who sent you those emails, and I have a proposition that might interest you. I don't make deals with loan sharks? That's what you were going to say, wasn't it? He chuckled. I'm not Carter. I'm someone Carter owes. Someone who wants to see your son hurt in ways that money can't fix. We want the same thing, Mr. Parker. Let me help you. My thumb hovered over the end button. Tomorrow, the coffee shop on Main Street in Lake Oswego. Noon. Come alone, or don't come at all, and watch your son, maybe. Possibly survive this. Your choice. Click. Deadline. I sat in my garden, surrounded by tomatoes, and evidence and impossible choices. Held my phone, stared at the unknown number, and I sat in my garden, surrounded by tomatoes and impossible choices. The unknown caller's voice still echoed, Tomorrow, noon, come alone. I didn't go inside right away, sat there until the mosquitoes found me, until the June evening cooled into something uncomfortable. My phone buzzed twice more. Felix checking in. I ignored both calls. At midnight, I finally moved. Walked inside, poured bourbon I didn't drink, opened my laptop. Alonzo's email was waiting. Full toxicology report attached. I clicked it open, read it 3 times. Oleander extract and arsenic trioxide. Dosage: 4.2 millimoles oleander glycosides, 1.8 arsenic. Precise formulation designed to cause cardiac arrhythmia, mimicking natural MI in elderly male. Symptoms: chest pain, dyspnea, irregular heartbeat within 2 hours. Fatal window: 4 to 6 hours without intervention. Known antidote: digoxin-specific antibody fragments, Digifab. Administration within 3 hours reverses effects completely. I sat back, read it again. They'd researched this. Calculated dosages. Obtained prescription antidotes. This wasn't panic or desperation or a stupid mistake. This was premeditated murder, dressed up as salvation. My phone rang. Alonzo. You read it? I read it. Harrison, this is sophisticated. Whoever formulated this knew exactly what they were doing. The combination is specific. Oleander contains cardiac glycosides that disrupt heart rhythm. The arsenic enhances the effect, causes cellular damage. Together, in these amounts, you'd have shown symptoms within 2 hours. How long would I have had? Without treatment? 4 to 6 hours, maybe. With your age, assuming no one knew what they were looking at, the ER would have treated you for standard heart attack. By the time they figured out it was poisoning, you'd likely be... He stopped. Dead. Yes. A pause. But here's what makes this premeditated murder, not manslaughter. Digoxin immune fab, the antidote. It's specific. Expensive. Prescription only. You can't just stumble across it. Someone researched this, planned it, obtained the antidote ahead of time. My hand tightened around the phone. Let me guess how it would have worked. I drink the wine. Start feeling sick. They're conveniently visiting, or they arrive right after I call. Venera remembers something about cardiac glycosides from a training seminar, has the exact antidote in her purse. Saves my life. And you'd be grateful, indebted, trusting. I'd change my will that week. I laughed, but it scraped my throat wrong. I'd give them access to everything. My accounts, my house, my decisions. Because they saved me. That would be my assessment, yes. We were both quiet, the weight of it pressed down. My son, my daughter-in-law. Murder as manipulation, death as financial planning. Harry, you need to call the police. Not yet. Harrison, send me everything. Every test result, every analysis, every detail. I'll be in touch. I hung up before he could argue. Thursday morning, Felix arrived at 7 with more coffee than 2 men could drink, and a manila folder thick with evidence. He spread it across my dining table. Bank statements, photos, screenshots. Venera's search history. My guy pulled it yesterday. He tapped the first page. 2 months ago. Untraceable poisons. Substances that cause heart attacks. How long until digoxin takes effect? Digoxin immune fab. Where to buy? I stared at the timestamps. March 14th. March 19th. April 2nd. 2 months of research. 2 months of planning my death. And this. Felix slid over a photo. Dwight outside Fast Cash on 82nd Avenue. Shaking hands with the loan shark. May 28th. That's when he borrowed the $50,000 from Carter. Which means the plan was in motion before they even had the money. They were planning to kill me regardless. My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. Felix nodded. The debt just made it urgent. I pulled everything toward me. The lab report, the search history, the loan documents, the photos, the recording of Venera's confession. Evidence enough to bury them. Felix leaned against my counter. We take this to the police right now. Attempted murder, fraud, conspiracy. You've got her confession on tape. No. Harry, this isn't about revenge. It's exactly about revenge. I met his eyes. They didn't just try to kill me, Felix. They tried to make me grateful for it. They wanted to own me, control me, drain me dry while I thanked them for the privilege. So you want them in prison. I get it. But I want them destroyed. Socially, financially, emotionally. I want them to lose everything they value before they lose their freedom. I want them to feel what they tried to do to me. Helpless, manipulated, watching everything collapse. Felix was quiet for a long moment. That's not justice, Harry. That's vengeance. Good. I stood, gathered the papers into neat stacks. They'll get justice in court. First, they get me. At 7 p.m., my doorbell rang. I checked the Ring camera. Dwight and Venera. Venera held a gift bag. My jaw tightened. I climbed the stairs from my wine cellar, composed my face into pleased surprise, opened the door. Dad! Dwight stepped inside, glancing around. We felt terrible about last time, rushing off like that. You look tired. Venera's eyes searched my face. You taking care of yourself? Same as always. She held out the gift bag. We noticed you never take supplements. At your age, you really should. These are top quality. We researched them specifically for men over 65. I accepted the bag, looked inside. 3 bottles. Vitamin D, calcium. Something labeled Heart Health Formula. Heart Health? I traced the label. What's this one? CoQ10 and other stuff. Venera's words came too fast. Really good for cardiovascular function. You should start taking them right away, like tonight. Tonight? That urgent? No, I mean, not urgent. Just, sooner is better. With supplements. Dwight put his arm around her shoulders. She worries about you, Dad. We both do. I can see that. I set the bag down carefully. This is very thoughtful. Will you stay for dinner? They exchanged a glance. Venera's eyes widened slightly, panic or warning. We can't tonight. Dwight has an early meeting tomorrow. But soon? Soon. I walked them to the door. And Venera, thank you especially. I know heart health is important at my age. After they left, I locked the door. Stood there counting to 60. Then I grabbed the gift bag and headed to my office. The vitamin bottles looked legitimate. Professional labels, sealed caps. I used a knife to pry open the first bottle. Inside, clear vials, medical packaging, nothing like vitamins. I photographed everything, every angle, every detail. Then I texted Alonzo. Photo attached. Is this what I think it is? His response came fast. Where did you get this? My son brought it. Said it's vitamins. That's Digifab, the antidote, in a vitamin bottle. Harrison, call the police. Now. I stared at the bottles on my desk. 3 of them. All relabeled. All containing prescription medication they claimed was supplements. They'd brought me the antidote. To the poison I never drank. From the wine I gave away. If there's an award for worst planned murder, I'd nominate them in a heartbeat. I typed back to Alonzo. Not yet. I need you to document this. Photograph, catalog, everything. Evidence chain. You're building a case. I'm building a gallows. At 10 p.m., I opened my laptop, navigated to my Wine Blog's admin panel, started typing. Warning, counterfeit Chouette Margot, 1995, detailed analysis. I wrote for an hour, clinical, professional, detailed photos of the bottle, the tampered cork, the suspicious seal. No names, just facts, just evidence, just enough for anyone who knew wine to understand what they were looking at. My 3,000 subscribers would see this at 6 a.m. The post would spread. Questions would follow. Connections would be made. Tomorrow, my son's world would start to collapse. I scheduled it for dawn, closed the laptop, poured a glass of wine. Not Margot, never that again. Something honest. A 2019 Oregon Pinot from Harold's Vineyard in Germany. My loyal son's wine. I held it up to the light. Deep garnet, clear, beautiful. Tomorrow, everything changes. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Impressive. You're actually doing it. But there's something you should know before you declare war. Check your email. Video attached. Venera's not done. Neither is your son. V. My hand tightened around the wine glass. I set it down carefully, afraid I'd shatter it. The email was waiting. Video attachment. Thumbnail showed Venera outside a pharmacy. I clicked play. Wednesday afternoon. Yesterday. Venera approaches a building. Greenwood Pharmacy on Hawthorne. Meets someone near the entrance. The camera angle shows her face clearly. The other person's back only. Money exchanged. Small package received. Brown paper bag, maybe 6 inches by 4 inches. Venera looks around nervously. Then she's crying. Actually crying. Wipes her face. Takes the package. Leaves. Timestamp 2 p.m. 3 hours before they came to my house with the vitamins. I watched it again, then again. On the third viewing, I paused on Venera's face. The tears were real. The fear was real. But so was the transaction. She bought more. She bought more poison, and I had no idea what she was planning to do with it. My phone rang. Felix. Harry, are you okay? I've been calling. Get over here. Now, bring your tablet. There's something you need to see. At 6:02 a.m., I refreshed my blog. 2 comments already. By 6:30, 27. By 8 a.m., 143. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Wine Guru, Seattle. Harrison, this is attempted murder, not authentication fraud. I type back, I'm documenting potential health hazards. The authorities will determine criminal liability. A vintage collector, NYC. That specific bottle. I remember it. Someone tried selling it on eBay. March? April? Seller backed out when I asked for documentation. My fingers paused on the keyboard. Do you remember the seller's username? D. Parker, 1986. Portland area. Said it was family collection, but couldn't provide purchase records. There it was. Proof of earlier planning. Proof they'd tried to sell the bottle, probably to fund the scheme when they first conceived it. Proof this wasn't impulsive desperation. Sommelier Life PDX. Holy hell. Harry, are you saying someone in your family? I didn't respond to that one. Let them draw their own conclusions. My coffee went cold. I kept refreshing, kept watching the numbers climb. By noon, 287 comments. By 3 p.m., the post had been shared to Reddit's wine community, multiple Facebook groups, Instagram accounts. Traffic counters showed 23,000 views and climbing. My phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Rang again. Different number. Voicemail. Someone from Wine Spectator. Someone from the Oregonian's food section. A detective from Portland PD asking if I'd filed a report. I turned off the ringer. Watched my son's world burn in real time through comment threads and share counts. At 10 a.m., I drove to Lake Oswego. The coffee shop on Main Street. Carter was already there. Back booth, expensive suit, cheap coffee. I slid into the opposite seat, uninvited. Placed a manila folder on the table between us. Said nothing. He opened it. Flipped through slowly. Photos of his check cashing operation. Client lists. Loan documents with interest rates that would get him 20 years. Closed it without expression. Felix Hunter's work? Very thorough work. You're blackmailing me. I'm offering you a business proposition. I pulled a bank envelope from my jacket, set it beside the folder. $60,000 cash for a $50,000 debt. 20% profit for 1 hour of your time. Or I give this folder to the Portland Police Department. Felix still has friends there. Good friends. Carter drummed his fingers on the table. What's your angle? You buying your son's debt just to forgive it? I'm buying it to control it. He'll pay every penny. But first, he'll do something for me. What? I leaned forward. He'll confess. Everything. On video? Notarized? The poisoning attempt, the planning, all of it. Then he'll pay the debt monthly from his salary until it's clear. That's cold. That's fair. Carter studied me. 40 years of criminal enterprise reading faces, calculating angles. Whatever he saw made him smile slightly. Deal, he extended his hand. Cash first, though. I slid the envelope across. He counted it. $61,000 bills. Pocketed it. Your boy's problem is your problem now. My boy has always been my problem. 30 minutes later, I received the confirmation email. Debt transferred. Dwight Parker now owed PCFS LLC, my shell company, $50,000 at terms to be determined. I forwarded it to Dwight's work email, added one line. We need to talk. Dad. Then I drove home and waited. At 11:47 a.m., my phone exploded. 6 calls from Dwight in 10 minutes. Then texts. Dad, call me. Please. What is happening? Did you buy my debt? Dad, please. I didn't respond. Let him spiral. Let him check my blog and find the post. Let him connect the dots. Let him understand that I knew everything and he knew nothing. Felix called at noon. Harry, your blog is everywhere. Someone found Dwight's old eBay listing. It's in the comments with screenshots. I saw. There's a reporter at your front door. I see that too. I watched through my window as a woman with a camera knocked again. I'm not answering. Good. Harry, this is working. The wine community is destroying him without you saying a word. His name is all over those comment threads now. Someone posted a link to his startup's website. People are leaving reviews, 1-star ratings, comments about not trusting a company run by someone who poisons family members. I pulled up the reviews on my laptop. Felix was right. Dwight's startup, some app nobody used, now had 47 new reviews, all 1-star, all mentioning the wine. My phone vibrated. Dwight calling again. I declined it. Then a text from Venera. We need to talk. Tonight? Your place or ours? I typed back. Mine. 7 p.m. Come alone. Both of us need to. Alone, Venera, or not at all. No response. At 4 p.m., Felix arrived with his tablet. You need to see this. Surveillance from yesterday. He queued up the video. I had already seen it. The mysterious V had sent it. But I watched again. Venera at Greenwood Pharmacy. Meeting someone. Money for package. Crying. This was Wednesday. 2 p.m. Felix zoomed in on the timestamp. 3 hours before they came to your house with the vitamins. She bought more. I said it flatly. Looks that way. But Harry, look at her face. The image froze on Venera's expression, tears on her cheeks. Mascara smudged. Genuine fear or genuine guilt, or maybe both. She's terrified. Or guilty. Or both. Felix closed the video. Question is, what's the new target? I stood, paced to the window. Me again. It has to be me. The first plan failed, so she's trying something simpler. Or it's someone else. I turned. Who else? Who else knows about the wine? About the original plan? Felix's expression was grim. Gretel, your daughter-in-law's mother. The woman who actually ended up with the poisoned bottle. My blood went cold. They wouldn't. They already tried to kill you. Why stop at matricide? Because it's her mother. And Dwight's your son. Didn't stop them. Felix tapped the tablet. I'm watching Gretel tonight. If Venera's planning something, she'll move soon. After Felix left, I checked Dwight's social media. His LinkedIn, his Facebook, his Instagram. All private now. Changed to private in the last hour. Too late. Screenshots were already circulating. Comments saved. Damage done. At 6:45 p.m., I was reviewing the debt transfer documents when my phone buzzed. Text from Dwight. Can't reach Venera. She's not answering. Do you know where she is? I stared at the message. Typed. She said she was coming here at 7. She's not there yet? No. Dad, I'm scared. Something's wrong. She's been acting weird all day. Won't tell me what she's doing. When did you last hear from her? 4 p.m. She said she had errands. That's it. She won't answer calls or texts. My stomach tightened. I checked the time. 6:52 p.m. If Venera was planning something with that pharmacy package, if she'd spent all day preparing, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. Mr. Parker? A man's voice, young, shaking. This is Sam from Greenwood Pharmacy. I'm calling about a woman who was here yesterday. Venera Parker? I think she might be in trouble. What kind of trouble? She bought arsenic, like a lot of arsenic. For gardening, she said, but the amount was... Look, I'm not supposed to call customers, but I saw the news today. About the poisoned wine. And I remembered her, and I just... If she's planning to hurt someone... When was she there? Yesterday, 2 p.m., but sir, she came back today. 20 minutes ago, bought more. And she was crying. She kept saying, I'm sorry, to herself. I think she's going to do something. I hung up. Dialed Gretel. It rang 6 times. Voicemail. Dialed again. Voicemail. Called Felix. Get to Gretel's house now. Venera bought more poison today. She's not answering her phone. Gretel's not answering hers. Go! I grabbed my keys. Ran for the door. My car was in the driveway when I stopped. Something was wrong. Something felt wrong. I walked back inside. Through the kitchen. To the garage door. Flipped on the light. Everything looked normal. Car, tools, storage, workbench. Then I saw it. On my workbench. A wine glass. My wine glass from earlier. The one I'd used for Harold's Pinot. I stepped closer. The glass still had wine in the bottom. Deep garnet red. And floating in the wine. Small white crystals. Barely visible. Dissolving slowly. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown V. She came while you were meeting Carter. Spare key under the flower pot. You really should move that. She added oleander extract to every open wine bottle in your house. Your Pinot, your Chardonnay, your daily drinking bottles. She was here 30 minutes. Felix was with you. I was watching her. You're welcome. V. My hands shook. I'd almost drunk that. Would have, if not for Felix's arrival. The distraction, the surveillance video discussion. I'd almost drunk it. Another text. She's not targeting Gretel. She's been targeting you. Again. All day. Check your coffee maker. Check your orange juice. Check everything. I walked to the kitchen like moving through water. Opened the refrigerator. My orange juice container sat on the top shelf. I pulled it out, held it to the light. Small particles suspended in the liquid, settling at the bottom. The coffee maker. I lifted the lid. The grounds looked normal until I stirred them with a spoon. White powder mixed in. She'd poisoned my house, my food, my drinks, everything. While I was out destroying her life online and buying her husband's debt, she was in my home poisoning everything I might consume. I pulled out my phone, dialed 911, stopped. If I called now, they'd investigate. They'd find the poison. They'd arrest her, and I wouldn't get to finish what I started. My thumb hovered over the call button. Another text from V. Don't call the police yet. You're close to something bigger. Trust me. Who are you? Someone who wants the same thing you want. Venera and Dwight destroyed. But there's more to this than you know. Give me until tomorrow. Then you'll understand everything. V. My phone rang. Felix. Harry, I'm at Gretel's. She's fine. She's here. She hasn't drunk anything unusual. She's safe. I exhaled. Thank God. Where are you? Home. Felix, Venera poisoned my house today while I was meeting Carter. The wine, the coffee, the orange juice, everything. Silence. Then, Jesus, did you? I'm fine. I didn't drink anything. Someone warned me. Someone? Who? I don't know. They've been texting me, watching the house. They knew Venera was here. Harry, that's not good. I know. But they saved my life. Twice now. Or they're playing you. Setting up something worse. My doorbell rang. I checked the camera. Venera, standing on my porch, alone, hair disheveled, eyes red from crying, hands empty. She rang again, then knocked, then pounded on the door. Harrison, please, I know you're home. I need to talk to you. Please. Felix's voice through the phone. Harry, don't open that door. I have to. This ends tonight. Harry! I hung up, walked to the door, put my hand on the knob. Every instinct screamed not to open it. But I'd started this. I'd published the blog. I'd bought the debt. I'd declared war. Time to face the enemy. I opened the door. Venera stood there, mascara streaked, hands shaking, looking like someone at the end of everything. I know you know, she whispered. I know you've known all along. And I'm here to tell you everything. Please, just listen. I stood there, Venera on my doorstep, mascara streaked, looking at the end of everything. I know you know, she whispered. I know you've known all along, and I'm here to tell you everything. Please, just listen. I stepped aside. She came in, sat on my couch like a defendant awaiting sentencing, but I had other plans for tonight. Save it for tomorrow, I said. We're having a family dinner, Saturday, 6 p.m. Everyone. Her head snapped up. Everyone. You, Dwight, your mother, your brother. Piper? Why would you invite... She stopped. Understanding dawned across her face. Oh, God. You know about Piper. I know everything. I pulled out my phone, dialed the number that had been texting me, put it on speaker. It rang twice. A male voice answered, Took you long enough to call back, Mr. Parker. Venera went white. That's Piper Green. Venera's brother, your almost son-in-law. His voice carried amusement. We should talk. Face-to-face would be better, but phone works for now. You're V. I watched Venera's face crumble. You've been feeding me information, helping me. Why? Helping you? Piper laughed. I've been helping myself, Mr. Parker. You were just useful. See, my sister had this great plan. Poison you, save you, inherit everything. Very clever. But I had a better plan, which was, let her do it. Document everything. Then blackmail her for the rest of her life. She gets your money. I get half of it forever. She can't refuse. I have evidence of attempted murder. Win-win. Venera made a sound like she'd been punched. Except I didn't drink the wine. Right. Unfortunate. But then you gave it to Gretel, and that created even better opportunities. Venera panics, acts desperate, buys more poison, tries again. Each action is more evidence, more leverage. You were using me to build your blackmail case against your own sister, and I was using her to potentially inherit through you. Playing both sides, Mr. Parker. It's a family trait. You should meet our father. Well, no, you shouldn't. He's in prison. Fraud. Where do you think we learned? I looked at Venera. She was crying silently, staring at the phone. And now? I asked. Now we can make a deal. I give you everything I have on Venera. Recordings, videos, documents. You give me a cut of whatever inheritance you were leaving Dwight, say 20%. You want me to pay you for evidence of your sister trying to kill me. I want you to invest in justice. I'm offering a service. I already have all the evidence I need. Do you? Did you know she tried to poison Gretel's tea yesterday? Venera gasped. Piper continued smoothly. No? That's because I stopped her. Convinced her it was too risky. See, I'm already providing value. I hung up, looked at Venera. He's lying, she whispered. I wouldn't poison my mother. Wouldn't you? You poisoned my house, every bottle. My coffee, my orange juice. That was different. She couldn't finish. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Be here. Both of you, all of you. I walked to the door, opened it. Now leave. She left. I called Felix. Get over here. We need to plan. Friday morning, Felix arrived with coffee and a thick folder. Piper Green, age 34. Venera's half-brother. Different fathers. Criminal record, 2 counts fraud, 1 assault, multiple gambling debts currently totaling $70,000. I looked up. 70,000? Same network as Dwight, different shark, but they all know each other. It's a food chain and Piper's at the bottom. So he needs money desperately. And he's smart enough not to poison anyone himself, just manipulate his sister into doing it, then profit either way. Felix slid photos across my table. He's been watching your house for weeks. These are surveillance stills from my contacts. He was there when Venera poisoned your bottles. Took photos. Didn't stop her. I stared at the images. Piper in his car, camera visible, watching my house while his sister committed attempted murder inside. He documented her crimes. For leverage, he's been building a blackmail case while pretending to help both of you. Felix leaned back. Harry, this is dangerous. You're bringing all of them together tomorrow night. Desperate people do desperate things. I know, but I want them in one room. I want them to see each other's lies. I want them to turn on each other. And Gretel? I was quiet for a moment. She deserves to know. She deserves to understand who her daughter became. That will destroy her. I know. My voice cracked. I know. Felix studied my face. You having second thoughts? Third and fourth thoughts. But we're past the point of stopping. I composed the group text carefully. Family dinner, Saturday 6 p.m., my house. Important estate matters to discuss. Everyone must attend. Dwight, Venera, Gretel, Piper. No exceptions. Harrison. My thumb hovered over send. 10 seconds passed. I hit it. The responses came fast. Dwight. Dad, is this really necessary? Can't we discuss this privately? Venera. I don't think this is a good idea. Gretel. Of course I'll come. Should I bring anything? Piper minutes later. Wouldn't miss it for the world. See you Saturday, Harrison. Saturday afternoon, I set my dining table like Thanksgiving. Good china, crystal glasses, cloth napkins, silver candlesticks. Felix watched from the kitchen. This is theater. This is justice. I placed the new bottle of Chateau Margaux in the center of the table. The safe one. The one I'd bought myself. And theater. At 5:50 p.m., Gretel arrived carrying a pie. She was nervous, hadn't been invited to family dinner since Venera's wedding. Did I do something wrong? She set the pie in the kitchen. My chest tightened. No, Gretel. You did everything right. That's why you're here. At 6:05, Dwight and Venera arrived. They paused in the doorway, seeing Gretel already seated, seeing the formal table, seeing my expression. Venera's face drained of color. Come in! My voice was flat. They sat. Dwight's hands shook. Venera kept glancing at her mother, then away. At 6:08, Piper arrived carrying wine. The audacity. He kissed Gretel's cheek, shook my hand firmly, clapped Dwight on the shoulder, playing the perfect family member. His eyes met mine over the handshake. A challenge. A smirk. Everyone sat. Gretel smoothed her napkin on her lap, exactly like my late wife used to do. My throat constricted. She didn't deserve this. I could still call it off. Send everyone home. My hand moved toward my phone. Then Piper laughed at something Dwight said, and the moment passed. I stood at the head of the table, picked up the Chateau Margaux. Thank you all for coming. I know this is unusual, but we need to talk about family, about trust, about wine. I held up the bottle. About this wine specifically. Venera's hands gripped the table edge. Dwight stared at his plate. Piper leaned back, watching. Gretel looked confused. Harrison, what's this about? I'll explain, Gretel. But first, I examined the bottle in the candlelight. Professional assessment. This is a Chateau Margaux 1995. Expensive. Rare. Beautiful. The last one I received was poisoned. Gretel gasped. What? Who would... That's what we're here to discuss. I set the bottle down. This one is safe. I verified it personally. Because I've learned I can't trust gifts from family. Dad, Dwight started. Don't. Not yet. Let me finish. I pulled out my phone, set it on the table. Screen showed a paused audio file. I have recordings, evidence, lab results, financial documents, search histories, everything. Venera started crying silently. Dwight wouldn't look up. Piper's smile faded. Gretel looked between her daughter and me. Someone please tell me what's happening. I took a breath. Gretel, I'm sorry. You need to hear this. Your daughter and my son tried to poison me. Not once. Multiple times. And your son... I looked at Piper. He helped them, while pretending to help me. Piper's smile vanished. The room exploded. Gretel. What? No. Venera would never. Venera. Mom, I can explain. Dwight. It wasn't supposed to go this far. Piper stood. I don't have to listen to this. Sit. Down. Something in my tone made him hesitate. Felix emerged from the kitchen, blocking the exit. Piper slowly sat. I pressed play. Venera's voice filled the room. We needed... There was no other way. The money, the debts. We thought, if I just what? Died? No, not died. Just sick. We had medicine. We would have saved you. Gretel's hands flew to her mouth. No. No, Venera. Tell me this isn't real. But Venera was crying too hard to speak. I stopped the recording, looked at Piper. Your turn. Want to tell everyone why you've been feeding me information? Why you're really here? Piper's jaw tightened. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? I pulled out my phone, showed the text thread. We had a conversation. You admitted everything. Gretel turned to Piper. You knew? You knew and didn't stop it? I was protecting myself. You were building a blackmail case against your own sister. My voice was ice. Admit it. The table erupted. Accusations, denials, crying. Gretel stood, backing toward the door. I reached for her. Gretel, I'm sorry. But she was already leaving, keys in hand. The door slammed. Silence. Then Dwight, voice hollow. What now? I looked at the three of them. My son, his wife, the manipulator. Now we discuss terms. I picked up the Chateau Margaux. But first, I held it out to Venera. Would you like to open it? Share a glass? She stared at it like it was a snake. I smiled coldly. What's wrong? You gave me wine before. Piper lunged for my phone on the table. Felix was faster, grabbed his arm, slammed him back down, and Dwight stood, grabbed a knife from the table setting, and Dwight held the knife to his own throat. If you press charges, I'm dead anyway. Carter's people will kill me in prison. The blade shook in his hand, pressed against skin. A thin red line appeared. Put the knife down, Dwight. My voice came out steadier than I felt. Why? So you can destroy me slowly instead of quickly? The blade pressed harder. I'm dead either way, Dad. At least this way is my choice. That's not a choice. That's cowardice. Is it? You want to lecture me about courage? You who spent 40 years serving wine to rich people, never taking a risk. Never trying to murder my own father for his money. That kind of risk. His hand shook harder. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. You made yours. Multiple times. Felix moved closer. Cop instincts. Son, put down the knife. Let's talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. Don't you get it? I'm finished. Dwight was screaming now. My business failed. My debts are impossible. My father owns my life, and I tried to kill him. There's no coming back from that. Then you've got nothing to lose by putting down the knife. Felix's voice stayed calm, trained. Put it down. Dwight's eyes met mine. For a moment the knife pressed harder. Then his hand dropped. The knife clattered on the hardwood. He put his head on the table and sobbed. Felix kicked the knife away, stood behind Dwight, hands ready. I sat back down, pulled out the folder, spread papers across the table methodically, lab report, financial statements, screenshots, the phone with the recording, each document placed with deliberate care. My hands were steady, my voice was not. Let me show you what I have. For 10 minutes I presented evidence. Venera's search history from March, untraceable poisons, substances that cause heart attacks, Dwight's loan documents, photos of him with Carter, the lab analysis showing oleander and arsenic, the vitamin bottles that were actually antidote. They sat silent, broken, caught. Then Venera spoke, voice strangled. It was me, all of it. Piper suggested it, but I planned it. I researched the poisons. I bought them. I convinced Dwight. She looked at her brother. And you said you'd help us. You said you'd protect us. You were just... I was advising my sister, giving information. I didn't poison anyone. Piper's voice was cold. You helped. You researched the dosages. You told me where to buy. Prove it. Venera turned to me, ignoring him. He's right. I did it. Dwight didn't even know at first. I told him after I'd already bought the poison. He tried to talk me out of it. I didn't try hard enough. Dwight's voice was hollow. I knew it was wrong. But the money, the debts, you thought you'd inherit and problems would disappear. My voice was flat. And when I gave the wine to Gretel? Venera's face crumpled. I panicked. I thought my mother would die. Because of me. She was crying fully now. And then Piper said I should try again. That I'd already crossed the line, might as well finish. I said no such thing. Piper started. You did! Venera's scream cut him off. You said in for a penny, in for a pound. You were building evidence against me. You told Harrison about the house poisoning before I even did it. I pulled out my phone, showed the text thread. These are from you, admitting everything. Piper went pale. Tell them, I said. Tell them about your gambling debts. Tell them how you were going to blackmail your sister after she murdered me. Tell them how you played both sides. Silence. Then Venera, quietly. I'm pregnant. My head snapped up. What? 8 weeks. Found out a month ago. Right before. She stopped. Right before you escalated to poisoning my house. My voice was hollow. I was desperate. The baby, the money, the timing. So your answer was murder. My answer was survival. Her voice cracked. You don't understand what it's like. Growing up poor, watching my mother work 3 jobs, wearing thrift store clothes while kids mocked me. I swore I'd never be like that. Never have my child grow up how I did. So you'd make your child grow up with parents in prison instead. She flinched. Her hands moved protectively to her stomach. I saw the gesture. My future grandchild, growing right now, while I decided their fate. I sat down heavily, didn't speak for a full minute. The room tilted. My grandson or granddaughter, first grandchild, should be joy, was terror instead. This baby would grow up knowing Grandpa almost sent both parents to prison. Or worse, would grow up not knowing because I did send them to prison. What would my wife have wanted? She'd want to know her grandchild. She'd want mercy. But mercy for attempted murder? My hand trembled as I picked up my water glass. First visible weakness I'd shown. Does Gretel know about the baby? No, I was waiting until second trimester. Now you're not sure you'll be free to raise it. Venera started crying again. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything. Sorry doesn't unkill me if you'd succeeded. I looked at the wedding photo on my mantel. My late wife. Young sons. Happier time. What would she say? What would she want? I knew. She'd want mercy. She'd want family. She'd want her grandchild. Here's my offer. My voice came out rough. For Dwight and Venera only. I looked at them. Both broken. Both waiting. Recorded confession. Full admission. I hold it as insurance. You repay the debt. $50,000. Paid monthly at 15% of your combined salaries. No inheritance. Ever. You're cut out completely. And, Dwight's voice shook, and I don't press charges. You don't go to prison. Your baby. My voice caught. Your baby has parents. Venera sobbed. But, my voice hardened. You stay away from Gretel until she's ready. You don't contact me except through payments. You don't defend yourselves publicly. If I hear your names mentioned in connection with poison, wine fraud, anything, the recording goes to police. Clear? Clear, Dwight whispered. Venera? Yes, clear. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for that baby. I looked at the photo again. My grandchild doesn't deserve to be punished for your sins. I turned to Piper. You want to walk away? Fine. But Felix has documented everything. You make one move against me, against them, against Gretel. It all goes public and to police. Piper's smirk faded. You're bluffing. Try me. I met his eyes. I've got nothing to lose. You've got everything. Choice two? Piper's voice turned sharp. What's choice two? Recorded confession, restitution payments, voluntary disinheritance, and you stay out of my life. That's blackmail. That's mercy. Dwight looked at Venora. She nodded. They were broken enough to accept. But Piper laughed, bitter, sharp. No, I don't think so. Excuse me. I'm not confessing to anything. You have texts from a burner phone you can't prove are mine. That's it. I can prove it. Try it. But here's what I'll do. You try to prosecute me. I go public. All of it. Your name, their names, Gretel's name. Every news outlet. Destroy your reputation along with theirs. My reputation is already. That was vague. This will be specific. Your son's face on TV. Your pregnant daughter-in-law in handcuffs. Your grandson born in prison. Is that what you want? My jaw clenched. You're threatening me. I'm negotiating. Let me walk. I stay quiet. Try to involve me. I burn everything down. Felix's phone buzzed. He checked it, face darkening. Harry, you need to see this. Local news website. Story posted 3 minutes ago. Breaking Portland wine expert. Allegedly targeted in family poisoning plot. My blood went cold. How? Anonymous tip. 10 minutes ago. Felix scrolled. They have details. Everything. Piper's smile returned. Told you. I don't make empty threats. You did this? Just now? My voice was deadly quiet. Sent the email before I came. Scheduled release. If I didn't cancel it by 7 p.m., it auto-sends. He checked his watch. 7:27. Oops. The room erupted. Dwight, you just destroyed all of us. Venera, my mother. This will kill her. Piper shrugged. Should have let me walk away clean. My phone exploded with notifications. Text messages. Email alerts. My blog readership spiking. You mutually assured destructed us all. No. I freed myself. You can't blackmail me when it's already public. I'm untouchable now. Felix moved toward Piper. I held up a hand. Let him go. Harry, let him go. Felix stepped aside. Piper stood, straightened his jacket. See you on the news. He left. Door closed. Gone. Dwight and Venera sat in shock. I stared at my phone. The story spreading, retweets, shares, comments piling up. What do we do? Venera whispered. I looked at them, at their hands clasped, at her hand on her stomach. We adapt. My voice was tired. So tired. You're still under our agreement. But now we face public opinion. Together or separately. Your choice. Together, Dwight said. If we're going down, we go telling the truth. All of it. Even Piper's involvement? Especially Piper's? Venera's voice was cold. He wants to burn everything. He burns too. I nodded. Tomorrow we prepare a statement. Public. Full. Honest. Will that work? I don't know. But it's all we have. My phone buzzed. Harold. From Germany. Dad, what the hell is going on? CNN International just picked up the story. Call me. My loyal son. Dragged into this. We have to call your brother, I told Dwight. What do we tell him? The truth? No more lies. Outside, a car pulled up. News van. Camera operator getting out. Felix closed the curtains. They'll want a statement. Not until we're ready. I stood, every year showing. Tomorrow. I picked up the Sea Chateau Margaux. This cost $800. I bought it to make a point. I held it to the light. I think I'll drink it. Because if my reputation is burning, I might as well enjoy good wine. Dwight managed a weak smile. Can I have a glass? No. You're paying restitution. You get box wine for 10 years. Felix's phone rang. He answered, listened. That was Gretel. She saw the news. She's coming back. Venera's head snapped up. Mom? She says if you're facing this, you don't do it alone. 15 minutes. Venera broke down completely. Because her mother, who had every reason to abandon her, was coming back. I don't deserve her, she sobbed. No, I agreed. You don't. But she's coming anyway. That's what mothers do. The story was spreading. My private revenge, now public spectacle. I'm sorry, Dad, for all of it. Dwight's voice was quiet. I didn't respond immediately, just looked at him, at Venera, at the evidence of their crimes and my revenge. Tomorrow, we face it together. Tonight, I need you to leave. I need to think. They left. Felix offered to stay. I declined. The house emptied. News van still outside. Phone still buzzing. I opened the C.H. Tow Margot. Poured a glass. Stood at my window looking at the news crew. Tomorrow, everything changes. Again. Tonight, I drink good wine and wonder if revenge was worth the price. The wine tasted like ashes. Sunday morning, I opened my curtains to 5 news vans on my lawn. Cameras pointed at my house like artillery. My phone showed 87 missed calls. The doorbell rang again, rang continuously. I sat at my kitchen table with cold coffee and the evidence folder. Called my lawyer first, then the police. 2 detectives arrived at noon. Morrison and Silva. I led them to the dining room where everything was still spread from last night. Recording device, lab reports, financial documents, Piper's texts, the poisoned wine glass sealed in a bag. Morrison picked up the recorder. You documented everything. I'm a wine authenticator. Documentation is what I do. For 3 hours I gave my statement. My throat was dry by the end. Mr. Parker, this is one of the most meticulously documented attempted murders I've ever seen. Why didn't you come to us immediately? I wanted to understand why first. I wanted them to face themselves before they faced justice. Morrison spread photos across the table. Walk me through the timeline. May 15th. My son and daughter-in-law returned from a trip they claimed was to France. It wasn't. They presented me with a Chaberteau Margaux, 1995. I noticed the cork had been tampered with. But you didn't report it? I didn't know what it was yet, just that something was wrong. I gave the bottle to Gretel Green as thanks for helping with my roof. So you inadvertently gave away poisoned wine. I inadvertently saved my own life. My voice came out flat. When Venera called, asking if I'd drunk it, she panicked. That's when I knew. Morrison played the audio. Venera's voice filled the room. You ruined everything. It was supposed to be you. My colleague analyzed the wine. Oleander extract and arsenic trioxide. Dosage calculated to cause cardiac arrest in a man my age. And they had the antidote ready. The plan was to poison me, let me suffer, then save me and gain my trust. My money. That's premeditated attempted murder. That's my son and daughter-in-law? My voice cracked. They arrested all 3 simultaneously. Felix texted me photos. Dwight in handcuffs at his apartment. Venera crying in a patrol car. Piper arguing with officers. All going to the same place. All because I'd documented everything. At the police station, Venera confessed within an hour. Her lawyer tried to stop her, but she talked anyway. I did it. All of it. I researched the poisons. I bought them. I put them in the wine. I convinced Dwight to help. Why? Money. We were drowning. Dwight owed $180,000. $50,000 to a loan shark. We were going to lose everything. I thought if we saved him after poisoning him, he'd be grateful. He'd help us. And when he gave the wine to your mother? Venera closed her eyes. I panicked. I thought my mother would die. Because of me. So I bought more poison. Tried to poison his house. Tried to... Crying now. I kept trying because I was in too deep. Because my brother said if I stopped, all I'd have was guilt and no money. Your brother was involved? He was playing both sides. Feeding information to Harrison, feeding me advice. Trying to profit from whoever survived. And you're pregnant? Her hand moved to her stomach. 8 weeks. That baby will be born while you're in prison, Mrs. Parker. Sunday evening, Gretel appeared at my door, eyes swollen from crying, stepped in without waiting, closed the door behind her, stood in my entryway like she was afraid to come further. I didn't know. You have to believe me. I didn't know. I know, Gretel. I never thought you did. She sat at my kitchen table, hands wrapped around tea she wasn't drinking. She's my daughter, my baby girl. I changed her diapers. I walked her to her first day of school. I worked 3 jobs to give her a better life, and she... Voice breaking. She tried to kill you. She tried to poison me. How did I raise someone who could do that? You didn't raise that person. You raised a little girl who loved you. Somewhere along the way, she became someone else. I failed her. No. My voice was firm. You did everything right. She made her choices. Evil choices. But they were hers. I pulled out my checkbook. Wrote carefully. $10,000. Slid it across the table. I can't accept this. This is too much. You can, and you will, because you deserve it. Because someone in that family should have something good come from this nightmare. My voice softened. Because you remind me why I bothered fighting at all. There are still good people. She took the check with shaking hands. I'll pay you back. No, you'll pay it forward. That's enough. After she left, I sat alone in my house. News vans still outside. Phones still buzzing. Evidence folders still on my table. I'd won. I'd survived. I'd gotten justice. Why did it feel like losing? Monday morning, a messenger delivered an envelope. County jail return address. Dwight's handwriting. Dad, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need to tell you why. Not to excuse it, just to explain. It started with Harold. I know you loved us both. I know you tried to be fair. But he was always the good one. The successful one. Went to Germany, became a real vintner. Sent you money, called every week. And me? I was the screw-up, the dreamer. The one whose startups failed. Who needed help. Who couldn't make it on his own. I saw how your face lit up when Harold called. How you talked about his vineyard with pride. How you never had that same pride when people asked about me. I wasn't trying to kill you, Dad. I was trying to finally be the son who saved you. Who you looked at with pride. Who was the hero for once. Venera just convinced me we could make money from it too. But the money wasn't why I said yes. I said yes because I thought if I saved your life, you'd finally see me the way you saw Harold. I was stupid. I was wrong. I was evil. But I was also desperate to be your son. Really, your son. Not just the other one. I'm sorry. For everything. Dwight, I set down the letter. My hands were shaking. My eyes were wet. He'd wanted my love so badly he tried to murder me for it. The irony was suffocating. Had I favored Harold? Had I been unfair? Or was this Dwight's perception warped by failure and insecurity? I didn't know. I'd never know. My phone rang. My lawyer. The arraignment is tomorrow. All 3 defendants. Media will be there. Are you prepared? Yes? You'll need to testify. In court. On camera. Your son will be there. I know. This isn't easy. No. But it's necessary. I walked to my wine cellar, stood among the bottles. My collection, my life's work. The thing that was supposed to bring joy. I found the section I needed. Chateau Margaux. Legitimate bottles. I pulled one. Not the 1995. Something older. 1990. A better year. I'd open it tomorrow. With Harold, who was flying in from Germany. My loyal son. The one who never tried to poison me. But as I held the bottle, all I could think about was Dwight. At 8 years old, helping me organize the cellar, asking endless questions, trying so hard to please me. When did that boy become the man who put Oleander in a Chateau Margaux? I climbed the stairs. My knees hurt. When did I get old? Tomorrow I'd face my son in court. Tomorrow I'd testify. Tomorrow I'd help send Dwight to prison. Tonight I'd drink good wine with my good son and try not to think about what I'd lost. But I already knew. The wine would taste like victory, and victory would taste like ash. 6 weeks later, I sat in the courthouse gallery while the judge delivered sentences. Mrs. Parker, you have been found guilty of attempted murder in the 1st degree, conspiracy, and fraud. The court acknowledges your pregnancy. However, the premeditated nature of your crimes demands significant consequences. You are hereby sentenced to 8 years in the Oregon State Correctional Institution for Women, with possibility of parole after 5 years. Venera sobbed. Her lawyer steadied her. Mr. Dwight Parker, you are sentenced to 10 years in the Oregon State Correctional Institution, with possibility of parole after 7 years. Dwight showed no reaction, just stared at the table. Mr. Piper Green, you are sentenced to 5 years, with possibility of parole after 3 years. Piper's face darkened, but he said nothing. This court notes that there are no winners here. A family has been destroyed. Justice has been served, but at immeasurable cost. Court is adjourned. Dwight was let out in chains, passed within 6 feet of me, looked at the floor, not at me. Deliberate avoidance. I didn't call out, didn't reach. Just watched my son disappear through a door. Harold waited outside. 42 years old, suntanned from German vineyards, his mother's eyes. Hugged me hard. Didn't let go for a long time. I felt myself shake in his son's arms. Realized I was crying. When did I start crying? That evening we sat on my back porch overlooking the garden, the Chateau Margaux. 1990 breathed in 2 glasses between us. Legitimate bottle from my collection. Should taste glorious. Tasted like duty. Harold raised his glass. To justice. I touched my glass to his, but didn't echo the toast. Just drank. You did the right thing? Right doesn't mean easy. Right doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Right doesn't bring back my son. Dwight made his choices. I know, but I keep thinking, was I a bad father? Did I favor you? Did I make him feel like he had to try to murder me just to get my attention? Dad, no, you were a great father, to both of us. Dwight's insecurity was his own. Was it? Or did I create the man who made those choices? Harold didn't answer. Neither did I. We sat in silence, wine untouched between us. 2 weeks later, Felix found me in the garden, hands in dirt. You're avoiding the cellar. Perceptive. I didn't look up, kept pulling weeds. Your collection's worth a fortune. You're just going to let it sit there? It's wine. It sits by definition. Harry, what do you want me to say? That I can't go down there without seeing Dwight as a kid? That every bottle reminds me I won but lost everything that matters? You didn't lose everything. You have your life, your house, your other son. 1 out of 2 isn't a great batting average. Felix was quiet. The DA's office wants to give you a commendation for the documentation. They want to give me an award for sending my son to prison. They want to acknowledge you did the right thing when it was hard. I finally looked up. I don't want an award. I want my son back, the one who wasn't a murderer. The 8-year-old who helped me organize wine bottles. Can they give me that? No. Then I don't want their award. I posted on my blog that week. Not about tannins or terroir. About cost. The most expensive wine is the one that costs you your family. Be careful who you raise your glass with. Sometimes the price is higher than you can afford. Sometimes you pay it anyway. The comments came fast. Harrison, we've followed this story. I can't imagine what you've been through. The most expensive wine. That hit hard. I'm sorry for your loss. Because it is a loss, even though justice was served. One comment stood out. You destroyed your own son for trying to steal from you. Was it worth it? Was your pride worth your family? I read it 3 times. Didn't respond. Closed the laptop. Wondered if they were right. One day, sorting mail, a photograph fell out. 20 years old, wrinkled, colors faded. Dwight at 19, standing next to me at a wine tasting. Both smiling. Dwight looking at me with hero worship. I traced his face in the photo with 1 finger. Whispered, I saved my life, but I lost my son. 1 month after sentencing, I checked my mailbox. Bills, junk mail, and an envelope with Oregon Women's Correctional Center return address. Venera's name in the corner. I read it standing in my driveway. Then sitting on my porch steps. Then at my kitchen table with bourbon I didn't drink. Dear Harrison, I know I have no right to write to you. I know I don't deserve your attention or your time. But I need to tell you something. I'm pregnant. You already knew that. But what you don't know is what it means. This baby, your grandchild, is due in February, 6 months from now. I'll give birth in the prison medical unit, probably in chains. Then what? I can keep the baby with me for 18 months in the mother-infant program. After that, someone else has to take them. My mother will, I think, if I ask, if she's forgiven me enough. But I need to know. Will you visit? Will you be in their life? Or did I destroy that too? This baby is innocent. They didn't choose me as a mother. Didn't choose Dwight as a father. Didn't choose to be born in a prison to parents who tried to murder their grandfather. But they'll be here anyway, in February. Your grandchild. I understand if you can't. I understand if the thought of seeing me, or this baby, reminds you too much of what I did, what I am. But if there's any part of you that can separate this child from my crime, please, don't let them grow up thinking their grandfather hated them before they were even born. I'm so sorry. For everything. I know sorry isn't enough. I know nothing is enough. But this baby deserves a family, even if I don't. Venera, I read it 4 times. Set it down, picked it up, read it again. My grandchild, my first, should be joy, was terror instead. This baby would grow up knowing Grandpa sent both parents to prison. Or worse, would grow up not knowing because I refused to be involved. What would my wife have wanted? She'd want me to know my grandchild. She'd say babies are innocent, deserve love, deserve family despite their parents' sins. But my wife didn't have to watch her son handcuffed and led away. I set down the letter, didn't answer, not yet, maybe not ever. A week later, another letter arrived, from Harold in Germany. Dad, if you decide to be in that baby's life, I'll support you. If you decide not to, I'll support you too. Either way, you're not alone. You saved yourself. That had to come first. What comes next? That's up to you. But whatever you decide, I'm here. Always. Harold. I put it in my desk drawer with the other 2 letters. Dwight's explanation, Venera's plea, Harold's support. 3 letters, 3 impossible choices, 3 different relationships. I still haven't answered any of them. I stand at the top of the cellar stairs sometimes. Haven't been down in weeks. My life's passion, my collection, the thing that brought me joy, now it just reminds me of Dwight at 8 years old, asking why wine needs to be stored lying down. I close the door. Don't go down. The garden grows wild. I got a citation for overgrown weeds. Me, the man who documented attempted murder with sommelier precision, can't file a weed permit. Felix laughed. I didn't. Today I sit at my kitchen table in the afternoon sun. Venera's letter in front of me. Blank paper beside it where I've tried 3 times to write a response. Crossed out each time. Outside my window, tomatoes are overripe. My phone buzzes with another ignored call. On the table, the photograph of young Dwight. The letter about the unborn grandchild. My reading glasses. A glass of water I forgot to drink. Not bourbon, not wine, just water. Because wine tastes like memories I can't stomach. Harold's return ticket to Germany is tomorrow. I'll be alone again. With my victory. With my justice. With my loss. I pick up the pen, put it down, pick it up again. What do I write? Congratulations on your pregnancy in prison? I'll be there when my grandchild is born in a correctional facility. Don't contact me again? I don't know. I fold the letter, put it in the drawer with the others. Both unanswered, both maybe unanswerable. I walk to the back porch, look at my garden, my house, my life. I won. I survived. I got justice. Why does it feel like losing? The sun sets over Portland. My garden fades into shadow. Inside, my wine collection sits untouched in the cellar. Tomorrow I'll have to decide about the pregnancy letter. Tomorrow I'll have to figure out how to live with my victory. Tomorrow. Tonight, I just sit and watch the sunset and wonder if the old Harrison, the one before the poisoned wine, would recognize the man I've become. I don't think so. And I don't know if that's growth or just damage. My grandchild will be born in February, 6 months from now. I have that long to decide if I'm a grandfather or just a victim. I genuinely don't know which I'll choose. The wine cellar door stays closed. The letters stay unanswered. The garden grows wild. And I sit in the afternoon sun with a pen in my hand and a letter before me, unable to write the first word, because some decisions are harder than revenge. Some victories cost more than defeat. And some stories end not with answers, but with questions that will never fully resolve. That's the taste of justice. That's the aftertaste of revenge. Bitter, complex, lingering, just like good wine, just like survival. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.